start, let me just segue because I need my laptop. If you can just have it for my presentation. Okay. So anyway, I have to give instructions remotely. I was expecting that I would click it on stage, but anyway, thank you. So when I got the invitation to speak to you here today, and they were saying we were supposed to speak about HR crossing borders in support of the Millennium Development Goals. And I'm saying to myself, well, who's going to be the audience in the convention? And they go, ma'am, it's first and second year college students. And I go, great. It's my favorite part of my career when I'm always being in tune with the youth. In my entire spectrum of recruitment, of course, most of my time is spent with executive recruitment, but my favorite part is, mingling with the youth because it gives me a real flavor of what's really happening in the country today. In fact, we're making the rounds of all the universities this summer. We're going to have a next big event in the university grounds. But anyway, I was saying, maybe, just maybe, not to say that you're not going to get it, but maybe, just maybe, this is too huge a topic for every one of us to talk about. Especially since I only have maybe an hour to speak about this, and there's a whole deluge of information. Ang dami-dami pwedeng pag-usapan tungkol sa crossing borders in Asia. So, over the weekend, yung weekend lang yung time ko para paghandaan dito, no? Kasi dami namin talagang ginagawa ngayon sa ABS. Over the weekend, iniisip ko, ano ba talaga ang magiging relevant sa inyo, mga estudyante? What will I really find value and bring with me as I leave the room today? Because ang dami pwedeng pag-usapan. So, inisip ko, sige, let's take a short trip, no? Let's take a short journey on where we are today, what is the future of HR, what has the world turned into, so parang mag-astral body projection tayo, like gravity, no? You take yourself from where you are right now and have a maybe 10,000 foot view of what's happening in the world today. So, after that, bababa tayo from the whole world to Asia, and then we're going to look at ourselves. How does this all relate to me? How is this relevant to me right here, right now? Yung mag-grasp natin, gets natin, hindi yung parang nalulunod tayo sa maraming impormasyon. Ganun lang kasimple. And from that, dun tayo mag-grow, mag-develop, at mag-grow. So in my next slide, controller, there is a button there that will click onto a short video that will show you the future of HR. Just 2 minutes, let's watch it. Don't mean to put any panic in our students today. We will discuss what the shift is, what the change is, and how that will impact us today. So in the next slide, let me go down to an Asian perspective. By 2020, 52% of the world's population will be middle class. And that's good. Means that we're uplifting the lives of people. There is a large degree of poverty reduction, which is our aim, and one of our aims in the MDG. In the next slide, 54% of this middle class will live in Asia. Good news again for us. Next slide. 43.2% of the economic weight will be, again, Asian. Next slide. 67% of new employment, which is very important to us, will be created in emerging Asia and only 1.8% in Europe. What does this say about our future? Good or bad? Okay. Parang ayaw nyo good. However, the process of globalization will continue. Traditional boundaries will continue blurring. Blurred lines. Ano yung kantang blurred lines? Yes. So parang wala ng mga countries, no? Parang iisa na yung isang buong mundo. In Europe, they have already transitioned into the euro. Sa Asia kaya, magkakaroon ng one currency? Posible kaya? So we continue to blur the lines of tradition as well. Dati, ang mga boss sa mga opisina, nakasarado ang pinto, mahirap pumasok. Ngayon, sa mga opisina, tinatawag nating open door policy. Sa former office ko, literally, walang pinto. I kid you not. Alright? So supranational organizations such as multinational corporations will gain relevance. Nakikita na natin to ngayon. Sa mga multinational companies, pagka-graduate, saan nyo gustong pumasok una? Any company in mind? ABS. Bukod sa ABS, mga multinational companies. Meron ba? San Miguel. Saan pa? Ilan ba ang gusto mag-apply sa ABS-CBN? Ang dami! Kung gusto nyo mag-OJT, hanapin nyo lang ako, ha? Plug in. Of course, anytime, para sa PUP. Kahit sa mga previous companies ko, lagi kami nagre-recruit sa PUP. Very open-minded ang mga students. Hindi masyadong kasabay. At very industrious sa work. Okay? Pero, itong kailangan nating malaman. Knowledge will be offered and demanded in efficient markets. Sorry na lang sa mga tamad mag-aral, pero kailangan talaga na meron tayong nalalaman. Hindi pwedeng hindi. The more you know, the more marketable you are, and the more you will be able to cope with the changes in the work environment. Universities such as PUP, in fact, I was sitting with your academe earlier, and they're always thinking of ways to improve subject matter, to rename subject matter, to make it more relevant and interesting to you. Universities will include in their programs the development skills such as learning to learn. So kapag mo nakaisip ng subject na Subject 101, Learning to Learn. Bakit? Very important ngayon because technology keeps changing, everything is getting obsolete. Sometimes we have to teach our employees to unlearn what they learn. For example, sa IT folks namin, pag naiba ang computer language at yun ang kinagis na nila, dun sila certified, paano na kung namatay na yung computer language na yun? Kung pwede lang i-reboot ang human mind, gagawin natin, pero hindi pwede. So we have to learn how to learn again. Alright? Next slide. Creativity will be highly valued by companies. Minsan, sasabihin natin, hindi kasi ako marunong mag-drawing, I'm not an artist, I don't know how to sing, I'm not creative. But what is the true meaning of creative? It is any new idea that work. Siyempre, hindi naman yung idea na may masabi ka lang, di ba? Any new idea that works, any new imagination, any new innovation, it could be very small, it could be very huge, for as long as we don't stop being creative. You know, last weekend I was eating with my sons in a restaurant, and do you know that ketchup bottle that's inverted? So that when you open it, you just squeeze out the ketchup and it comes out? You know that. The inverted ketchup bottle, my son would say, was invented by this some guy. It's a very simple invention, but it earned billions of dollars for patent of the inverted bottle. Seeming invention was a very simple innovation, but not for the entire world. Alright? So this is what I mean by creativity, that companies will look for. Okay. And this is one thing that we want to discuss and address. There is a physical world and the digital world. And the physical, ano yung digital world? Anyone? Don't be shy. Ano yung digital world? World Wide Web, Internet. We'll continue to blur. How many of you watched the new film, which I think nominated in the Oscars, di ko alam kung nanalo, Her? Did anyone watch Her? Na-in-love siya sa AIOS niya. Right? Sinabi ko na ba kung sa mga niya? So, minsan, hindi natin alam, ito ba ang physical world o ito ba ang augmented reality? Because this is where we're heading right now. Next slide. This will be our common use, augmented reality, our virtual worlds. And this will create opportunities beyond our imagination. Minsan, hindi pa natin naiisip, mangyayari na. Stop there. Let me ask the teachers and the members of the academy, who won the war? Encyclopedia Britannica or Encarta? Wikipedia. If Wikipedia were a book, it would have about 2.5 million pages. That's how big and huge the information that Wikipedia contains in the world today, and it keeps growing. So here today, it's not to scare you, but to prepare all of you of what is happening in the world. We call this phenomenon rapid knowledge obsolescence. What does it mean? And how is that relevant to us? If we will correlate this phenomenon with how the world is changing, how Asia is becoming an emerging market, it does exist. This means the top 10 in-demand jobs in 2013 did not exist in 2004. One example, digital media. Was it heard of in 2004? Are you studying digital media today? Kahit HRM. Pumupunta ba kayo sa internet at gagawa ng sarili ng movie maker? Diba? That's all part of it. That didn't exist in 2004. 2004, may anak na ako. And that's how fast obsolescence is. Next. The amount of new technical information is doubling every 2 years. How can you keep up? For those who have graduated from school, kasi na yung pinag-aralan nila after 2 years. And for those who are teaching and creating curriculum in school, kakagawa pa lang nila ng curriculum, iba na ang ginagamit. How's that for the academe? Even the academe will not be able to keep up. But we do what we can to educate our youth. For students starting a 4-year technical or college course, This means that half of what you will learn for the first year will be outdated by the third year. Is it scary? Is it a means for us to panic? I say no. Is it a means for us to say, wag na tayo mag-aaral eh, outdated na eh? Siyempre hindi. Because for us to better appreciate the future, we have to know the present. Why do you think we study history over and over again? Why? Because history will always repeat itself. And we always learn from the lessons of history, don't we not? And for you to better appreciate, everything that you learn today are building blocks of what you will experience in the future. Walang sayang sa pinag-aralan natin lahat. Kahit na sabihin yung outdated, makikita mo, kaya nga natin pinag-aaralan yung dinosaurs, di ba? Extinct sila, pero pinag-aaral natin dahil nalalaman natin kung saan tayo nagmula, paano tayo nag-develop, at kung alam natin kung paano tayo nag-develop, we know how to improve ourselves even better. So nothing will go to waste. However, we know that this is going to happen, and the only thing we can do is to prepare for it. Human beings, they know the future will happen. They know that there will be global warming. They know that there are going to be storms. They know that all these natural disasters will happen. We never prepare ourselves enough for the future. So with that awareness, with that cognizance, we can now better prepare ourselves. But how do we prepare? It's the next slide. Sure. There. Oh, I wanted to say, the International Labor Organization, about maybe more than 15 years ago, made a study about how long the shelf life of certain degrees will be. I just wanted you to see, 1 year for computer science, 2 years for electrical engineering, mabuti pa kung architecture, 15 years. That's how fast rapid knowledge obsolescence occurs. In fact, this was written about more than 10, 15 years ago, and I'm saying today, it's faster than that. The shelf life is faster than that. Even our degrees are highly perishable. Parang gulay sa grocery, no? Balikan mo bukas, broke na. Okay. And I wanted to insert this snippet. For the first time in history, the 4 generations are working side by side. Ewan ko kung saan po tayo dito. Traditionalist, baby boomer. Mga baby boomer, ang cut-off niyan hanggang 1965. Yan ba yung baby boomer? Tuwang-tuwa ako. May traditionalist, may baby boomer, may Gen X, may millennial. They all work side by side, pero iba-iba yung mode of communication nila. Yung traditionalist ay punta kayo sa post office, mail nga ito. Yung baby boomer naman, since meron na silang telepono, itong number ko, pero di-dial pa na gano'n, di ba? Naabutan ko yun. Yung Gen X, sana naman, no? Ako na yan, pero hindi na siya. Tama, ako yan. Email me. Ako yung panahon na meron ng email. Pero nung panahon ko na may email, dial up pa. Ang tagal. Pero ngayong araw na ito, fiber technology, siguro kung nabuhay yung mga anak ko nung dial-up network, ay magpapakamatay na yung mga yun. Dahil sa kanila, fiber technology, isang blink, pag wala doon yung picture, galit na sila. Mom, the internet is so slow today. Galit pa eh. And then, text me. Do you know that all apps will turn mobile in the future? Even tablets and laptops will be less of a use than mobile. In fact, when I went to Las Vegas last year to attend the LinkedIn conference, how many of you here have LinkedIn profiles? Not yet? Wala pa? Siyempre. Yung mga academe meron, no? But I urge you, if you want to be more marketable in your jobs, have a LinkedIn profile. My friends in LinkedIn will thank me for this advertising, but it's very essential. In the conference that I attended in Las Vegas last October, we are now going to introduce a mobile app. And this will introduce the death of the resume. Type kayo ng resume ngayon, di ba? Every job na pag-applyan nyo, kailangan nyo pang-upload yung resume. Maswerte nga kayo, nakaka-upload ng resume. Nung panahon ko, bawat opisina, nagsasubmit kami ng resume, no? Pero ngayon, upload na lang yung resume. In the future, na ng resume. You just create your own profile in the internet, and you scan it, click on apply for each job, and it will go directly to the inbox of your future employers. That's how fast it's going to be. All apps are turning mobile. Hindi na nga tablet. So that's just an example of, how communication will be. And we in the other generations are working hard, double time, to be able to understand and relate to all of you in the new millennium. Okay, what's the next slide? Stop there. So I'm saying, how do you prepare for all this? How do you prepare for changes in the workplace? How do you prepare for the emerging Asian economy? Do you think about all those highfalutin words such as power distance, HR business partner, performance model, capability sourcing models, metrics, scorecards? Do you prepare for all that now? Yes, you're studying some of that now, but do you overly have to be anxious about knowing that all now so that you can cope in the next 2 years or 3 years when you graduate? Because when you get an interview, you will have to impress your hiring managers and say, I know that people keep billable hours. I know how to make a balanced scorecard. I know how to change the culture of this company. No. But what I will tell you is plain and simple and very basic. What you need to equip yourselves with today to prepare you for the future is certain competencies. Maguna ngayong mundo, magpalit-palit man, itong mga competencies na ito ang tutulong sa inyo to cope with those changes and to prepare for those changes. Alam mo, maraming competencies. Baka sabihin nyo, sinabi ni Ms. Arlyn from ABS-CBN, ito lang daw ang paghandaan ko. Ang sinasabi ko, itong mga kailangan nating magkaroon ay pinaka-applicable. But maraming competencies, hindi lang ito. Sinasabi ko lang na ito ang mga ilan sa mga importante that what we should have to prepare you for the future, to prepare you to address the highfalutin HR crossing borders in support of the Millennium Development Goals. Let's see what they are. Sinabi natin kanina, know how to learn. Never stop learning. Do you know that we have tests in corporations how to measure a person's speed of learning? Alam niyo yan, di ba? Mga teachers, ma'am, tumatanong kayo because we can measure that. And corporations will look for people who can learn fast. Ang laro ngayon, dalawa lang. And tandaan niyo ito, and I always tell my team this. You have to have 2 things, 2 words to remember about your work: speed and accuracy. If you have both, all the rest will follow. Speed and accuracy. Sa panahon ngayon, alam niyo ba nung panahon ng mga parents natin, siguro mga lola niyo ngayon, their 40-hour work week, magagawa niyo sila sa isang linggo, magagawa natin ngayon ng isang araw lang. Ganun kabilis. So, kung hindi ka mabilis, kung hindi ka mabilis matuto, may mga iba sa atin dyan, natututo. Oh my God, million years bago matuto, no? Akala ka lang ngayon, how fast do you learn? So, iba sa atin na, ma'am, hindi ako ganun katalino. Hindi na buo ako magiging successful. I say no. There are 2 schools of thought. People will always be born with a higher cognitive ability. But there are people with purposeful practice will get there. So So ngayon pa lang, kung mabagal kayo, mag-practice na kayo ngayon dahil you will get it eventually. Next. Next. Communication skills. I cannot stress enough the need for communication skills. Alam nyo, if we only upgraded our communication skills earlier on, walang unemployment sa bansa. Wala. When I was in the BPO sector, a sector I love and a sector that I learned a lot from, ang dami-dami gustong magkatrabaho. Marami na trabaho. Call center. A lot of people would look down on call center agents. But I look higher. Sa akin, bagong bayani ang mga yan. Minsan nga lang may mga batang medyo pasaway, pero ang daming natulong na pamilya sa Pilipinas. Maraming hindi nag-abroad dahil nandito yung opportunity. Pero, when our client tells us, I need 500 people in 1 week, if I can only hire everyone that walks into our door, I will do that. However, only about 5% of the people who walk in our door will land jobs at the end of the day. Why? Because of communication skills. Kahit sabihin ko, Tagalogin ko na, no? Hindi kailangan na American English. Pero ang kulang nila is hindi nila naiintindihan. Comprehension, makita. Yun ang una, comprehension. Pangalawa, confidence. Alam kong alam nila. Pero pag tinanong ko na, para ba akong nanakot? Hindi makasagot? Bakit? So practice your communication skills. I think next to knowledge, communication skills is very important. Huwag kayong mahiya to speak out loud. Kung magtatawanan kayo ng mga classmates ka dahil Carabao English kayo or wrong grammar. Speak out loud, practice. Learn how to be a good communicator. Not everyone was born with good communication skills. Mga baby nga, hindi marunong magsalita. But through practice, you will earn that skill. And I urge you, remember this day, and you will thank me for it. If you develop your communication skills, you're 50% the way to success. Next, adaptability and flexibility, which is very important. Kasi nga change eh. Kung hindi kayo marunong mag-adapt, kung hindi kayo flexible, kung matigas ang ulo niyo at pasaway kayo, wala rin. It will not get you anywhere. You know, in certain companies that I joined, you will propose a new idea. So, yabang ko, no? What about we do this? Ganyan pa. Tapos yung mga matatanda dun sa opisina, sasabihin, nagawa na namin yung dati. Di naman nag-work. Paano yun? Diba? So parang nauubos na sila, parang ang ginahulong exit, no? So ganun. So every time there is a change, which happens every day. So sometimes in the office, no, we've just rolled out a new communication. Tomorrow, iba na naman. Lalo na ABS-CBN. News changes every day. You can't say that, oh, this was the directive, but no. All of the times call for different ways for you to handle things. And if you can't adapt that much, and if you're not flexible, if you refuse to change, you will be left behind. Okay. Ito, interpersonal skills, yung sinasabi natin teamwork, takes on a new meaning in globalization. Kids today will think teamwork, pakikisama, oo, tama yun. Classmates ko sa classroom. But teamwork nowadays takes on a new meaning. Teamwork takes on a new meaning because of the virtual world. Kasama natin kahit wala sa kwarto, kausap natin, ka-meeting natin, nasa Amerika, nasa Europe, nasa China. The buzzword for teamwork nowadays is knowing how to deal with diversity. Diversity in the workplace. Hindi lahat tayo Pinoy. So gone were the days, minsan nga nami-miss ko in working with multinational companies, and you're working with, foreigners from India and the United States. Sometimes nami-miss mo yung mga Pinoy jokes, yung mga, wala kayo sa lolo ko. Hindi na pwede ngayon because we have to be culturally sensitive. We have to know cultures, ethnic origins, and race. We cannot be racist. We have to be careful with what we say. We have to be sensitive to women's rights. And all those things, which takes on teamwork on a whole new platform and level of meaning. Correct? Okay. Gets nyo na. Fifth, ito yung sinasabi kong developmental skills. Never stop learning. Hindi ko sinasabing na mag-masters kayo, mag-PhD kayo. Okay din, no? Pero ang sinasabi ko is, ang dami ng kailangan matuto. It's all for your personal growth. I have an aunt who said, by the time I die, I want to have my own solo art exhibit. At 70, she opened her first solo art exhibit. At 70. So needless to say, we always have to develop, otherwise we will be like the dinosaurs again and be extinct. Thanks. Ito yung pinaka-importante. Analytical skills. Nowadays, everyone will be bombarded with problems. Ang gagawin natin? Titingin na tayo? O parang Rubik's Cube na isa-solve natin. Every day, your employers will look at you and say, how are you going to solve this? What are you going to do? And you have to be able to think on your feet and find a solution right there and then. And if you don't have that analytical skills, I will tell you a secret on how to do analytical skills and how to hold that. But you will hate me for it. What is the best way to practice analytical skills? A very simple way. Can anyone make a guess? No? Math problems. Fun?
No.
Fun?
No.
Sorry to say, if you want to increase your vocabulary, what do you do on a weekend? Crossword. Diba? Sino dito nagko-crossword? I love crosswords. And studies have shown that people who do crosswords will reduce the risk of dementia. Same with analytical skills. Okay, kung ayaw nyo ng math problems, read a book. Read a kahit na hindi book, sige. Read a very complex situation. Yung may problematic na situation. And try to solve it. Practicing mo yan ang practicing. Swak yan sa analytical skills. Okay, we have one more. Yan, influencing skills. And this is where I want to share a new meaning of influencing skills. People think that I can be an influencer if I have a position. If I'm a manager, if I'm a head of an organization, if I'm the owner. Nowadays, influencing skills or leadership takes on a new meaning. Not by level or position, but on the way you engage people. In the way you are able to convince people. As HR practitioners, this is one skill that you need a lot because we are the managers and the implementers of a change. In any organization, it's where, nasa na HR? May bago na naman tayo, nasa na HR? Lagi na lang gano'n. We are the implementers and the communicators of that change. So if you don't have the influencing skills, you better practice. Ganito lang. Ma'am, may pera. Hindi kayo binigyan, practice niyo sa mga magulang niyo. Kung bigyan kayo ng 100 because you made a very good business case, ayan, galing ang influencing skills niyo. Okay? Alright, so, in closing, gusto ko lang kayo papauna ng mga practice items, no? To prepare you. And what I want to say is, preparing you for the highfalutin, far-flung idea is simple. Simple lang. Hindi kailangan ma-overwhelm. Kasi on the next slide, ito lang ang papaon ko sa inyo. Keep count and mobilize knowledge. Ito lang ang mapapapaon ko sa inyo ngayon. So mga tips lang, let's build it up already. Read, read, read. Alam niyo, my, pardon me if I have snippets about my children. When I was growing up, the gauge of our parents' intelligence to our kids would be, if you're a voracious reader, how many books have you read? Have you read this and that? And somehow I felt inept because I wasn't as a voracious reader as my sister, but I would love to read short stories and magazines and articles. Nowadays, I have not seen my sons read a book, and I was kind of worried, like, how do you learn? But if you talk to any of them, my God, they are like a walking encyclopedia. They know updates on Google. They know how do you make this? Oh, you get this and that. How do you? There is this Michelin rating for food. There is this wine rating. Anything under the sun, they can articulate, and that just comes from the World Wide Web. And in fact, the internet and people who upload in the internet has made it in such a way that they have captured the attention of our youth. Not like how we did in the past when I was growing up. If I only had that, I probably would be valedictorian when I graduated. But read, read, read. You can read it in the internet, you can read it in your tablets, you can read it in books. No matter what, the medium or the channel, read. Read something difficult and solve complex problems. Do math problems without a calculator. Pagbasahin, ako nga pag sinasabi, what's 10 plus 12? Oh, hindi ko alam yata ang 10 plus 12. Ito na ako sa cellphone ko. Hindi ba? What's 10? Nari in a meeting, sabihin na boss ko, 100, what is 15% of whatever, I go, you didn't hire me for my math ability. Wala talaga promise. Next, learn new skills every day, no matter how small or big. Kahit yung bago na my teachers would always ask me, Arlyn, ikaw extemporaneous speech, ikaw pati, sabayang bigkas, yan. Pero I was terrified. So one trick I had, maybe syempre ngayon hindi ko kayo nakikita, was to imagine that there was no one here. And people use that all the time. But now, you invite me to speak, please stand, I'm ready. Practice speaking publicly, and the monsters will go away. All the fears that you had. Do you think I still get scared to this day? Oo, pagpas ko, bored ako. Or international clients for that matter. And then once I was in a boardroom and they go, okay, let's wait for Arlyn to answer the question. How many can you recruit in a week, Arlyn? Can you recruit 500? Performance level. Answer, Arlyn. Please answer the question. Only 500? And last, learn a new language. It will help. Okay, so in closing, I have just, joint focus group discussions. Siyempre, balik-taktakan. Learn what you know, share what you know. Okay? Just a note to the academia. Siyempre, hindi lang mga students ang kausap na ngayon. Social relationships will be affected by the internet at all levels. Internet is a vital part of our life right now. And ito ang na-obserbahan ko sa mga bata ngayon. What is a bad day for my son? Slow internet connection. Kano sigurahin ako ng anak ko pag wala kami internet sa bahay. And true enough, kasi hindi nila masubmit ang mga work assignments nila. They submitted to the teacher via the internet right now. Okay. So what is the message I want to impart to people who teach our kids, our future? This is a generation, your generation, the people who are sitting here today, is a generation that uses the internet as a tool of self-expression. Never have I seen the youth express themselves so much. Never in my day. Hindi po kime, we're quiet, we can't speak out. But now, yeah, you still don't speak out when your parents are there, but when you look at your Facebook, your blogs, parang yun ko yata ano tunay na pagkatao ng mga anak ko eh. At pinrent na nila ako sa Facebook, dati ayaw nila. Sabi nila, Mom, you're my mom, not my friend. Pero ngayon, you want this? Yes. You friend me in Facebook. Okay. So friends na kami. But you see, they're a totally different individual from what I know them in Facebook. Siyempre nakikita ko rin kung sino mga girls nila. But never have they been so full of self-expression ever in their lives. Di ba pag kayo nagpe-Facebook, parang hindi kayo nahihiya. Pero sa mga gulang nyo, nahihiya. Opo. Sabi mo nga po. Ganun kayo. Next. This is a generation that is constantly connected. How nice, you know? Kahit yung classmates nyo ng nursery, grade school, teachers nyo, kahit sino, you're still connected. Nalalaman nyo kung kamusta na si ganito, nasa Facebook, nasa Twitter. Next. This is a generation that really wants to make a difference. Nakikita namin. Through your blogs, through your videos, through your pictures. Your individuality is really showing. Next, meron po. And my question to me, and to all the people in the academy, how do we manage? These kids still want to be coached and mentored. But perhaps what we have to look at is our way of doing things for these children. Thank you.